Oh yeah, no, I'm definitely spamming my panties at people for the rest of my life.
Oh yeah, that's what I've been doing in Twitch chats recently anyway.
Welcome to Speed Dates Nalle. Please introduce yourself. Who are you? What do you play? What do you run? What do you do?
Yeah, what's up everyone? My name's Nalle, or NalleSounds, but you can call me Nalle. I speedrun Ocarina of Time, the Legend of Zelda game that you're probably familiar with. I have done a few different categories now. The main ones being GSR, or Ganondorf Source Requirement, formerly known as No I Am Wrong Warp, Glitchless, and currently all dungeons no SRM. That's what I do.
So, I really liked Nalle. First of all, welcome on the show. Thank you for coming here. I like
Thank you for
how it
letting me
was
be here.
GSR, Ganondorf Source Requirements, explained. No, I am wrong warp. One of those was the full words. All right, I am is just the word I'm. You know, it's no I am or wrong warping, and then no SRM. And SRM stands for SRM.
Yep.
So what is I am and what is SRM? I just want to get that for all the Banjo Kazooie runners who are watching this.
Oh yeah, I am is an old umbrella term that stands for item manipulation. Basically, it's just an umbrella term for two other acronyms: RBA, or Reverse Bottle Adventure, and GIM, or Get Item Manipulation. Not gonna bother going into those because they're both very technical and all that, but yeah, basically bounce those tricks.
Yes, it gets in. If you start actually explaining Ocarina of Time stuff, you become that meme of like the super white lady and all the math numbers around her, and you're just like, eh. I'm sure you've seen that one.
Yeah. And we're gonna be here for like 3 hours, so
yeah. Take out your textbook.
Make sure to take notes. You will be quizzed on this in 2 weeks.
When this episode releases.
We don't have to date ourselves too hard.
Yeah. And then so SRM, everyone knows that's the one where you put your hands over your head. Goal, you're the referee. You know, sail reference manipulation.
Yeah, you take data from one thing and write it to another thing, and that's super just abstract and not specific at all, because it is. You can do basically whatever you want with it.
I'm pretty sure I saw ZFG in an R-Wing.
Yep.
Yep.
You can do that.
That was... He wasn't even playing Star Fox. It was a shame.
I mean, they're actually in OT. But
yeah, aren't they
just
used
not ever...
as like resources?
Yeah, they were test enemies to try out like probably the targeting system and all that.
Okay.
And they're still in the game files. They just don't have like a spawn trigger at any point in the game code or something.
Majora's Mask has the Sun Song in the game files.
Yeah,
that shit's so wild. So
like actually does stuff. You just can't actually get it.
It's just like in the code, just like, we put it in the game, but we didn't want you to use it. Would have been kind of broken, you know, considering the whole day-night system and how it works. And turns out it is totally broken. Why is it in the code? I always wonder what other weird, wacky game is going to find out that, like, by the way, there's a whole other game in our code that we just scrapped at one point.
Yeah. I feel like that's kind of how you have to do game development, though. Because you just take, like, everything that, we might need this. And then we just put that in there, and then stuff goes on the chopping block, and some stuff gets cut, and then parts of the code just gets completely forgotten about. And 20 years later, some turbo nerd is going to find it and be like, wow, look at these lazy developers.
So lazy. And the guy from South Park, like, these lazy idiots. They left their code in here. They only had 64 megabytes to work with, and they filled it with this garbage they didn't even use.
Yep.
Developers. So what got you into speedrunning, Nalle? Where were you the day that you were just like, man, I want to do the most degenerate shit I've ever heard of for the rest of my life?
It was 3:30 a.m. in my room watching a Pope Squidward stream, and I realized, you know what, I could do this. And then I tried doing it and realized it was heckin' hard, and it was going to take a lot more time and practice and effort than I previously thought. But I wanted to do it because it seemed like an interesting and fun challenge. Just trying something completely new. And well, now here I am, like almost 2 years later at this point.
On a date with me.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Swift Ike himself. Truly an honor.
No, it's an honor for me. I get to have the NalleSounds himself.
Stop, I'm blushing.
So, you said you started off watching Pope Squidward. Isn't that a Majora's Mask runner? Like, I know Majora's Mask is very similar to Ocarina of Time. But were you watching MM? We're just like, this looks fun.
But I don't want to do first cycle.
It was first. It's always first.
It's literally wow. Because I actually like MM more as a game, just like casually, and I messed around with glitches and tricks and all that in MM a lot more before getting into speedrunning. But when I started looking around, like, oh, what categories are there really? Like, I really like MM or old MM 90%. The
all dungeons,
index warp, yeah, basically
no
all
SRM.
Dungeons.
Yeah.
The 2018 90% route, basically. I really liked that one, but it was really hard. So I started looking around like more beginner-friendly categories, and I started asking around, and people recommended No I Am Wrong Warp in OOT as a beginning category. Because
I can just see people in the MM Discord being like, "You want easy stuff? Go to that game."
Yeah, and I did, and I haven't left since. Because like, turns out I actually think OOT is a pretty good speed game, and
it's pretty good.
I like it.
Do you think
it's not for everyone, but you know,
nothing ever is. Do you think Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask benefited or was hurt more from SRM/Ace? I think they both benefited it in some way overall. Because I think,
but they,
especially now that we have the split, right? I feel like there isn't as much negativity overall. / perpetuating negativity is always bad, so we kind of just have to, look at it as growth of a speed game, right? Every speed game gets new advancements except for TP. As things go.
Unfortunately.
No, it's fine.
But hey, man,
we like the Stone Age.
Yeah, I mean, hey, man, even the most unexpected stuff can happen, and what you think is truly stagnant. Like, even just today, well, I mean, I'm going to use OT as an example again, but a new glitchless way of skipping the Goron tunic is now a thing. So
I saw that. I saw Chef Bear's pour now.
Yeah. So the one category that OOT runners thought was safe from change since like 2017 is now going to get a reroute. So that's pretty cool.
It's
so
never
I don't know,
safe.
Maybe TP gets something similar.
Ocarina of Time is like never safe. Like even before SRM stuff, when I was running IMWW, like they found a new way for boat skip. Like right after I learned boat skip, you used to have to do like a weird shoe hover and initial position thingy with the door.
Yeah,
it was a whole mess. It used to be you have two tricks that suck: boat skip and Spirit hover.
Yeah.
And then boat skip just became like the easiest trick in the game, and it was whatever. You go straight to bongo bongo, no big deal. And then it became boat key skip, and it's just like, yeah, whatever. We don't even go into the floor anymore. We just skip all this.
And now we can skip entire like forest temple interior. So we don't even do boat key skip anymore. Because we just hook shot jump up to the boat chest now. It's I don't know. OT gets some weird reroute like almost every other month. Even as you said, like even before the SRM stuff, like Hundo got like a major reroute every year. It's why like it managed to get into AGDQ or Games Done Quick like that often, because it was never really the same run.
I feel like AGDQ is one you don't need to. I think most people know what that is. It's more of the more specific acronyms that can be.
Yeah, but just Games Done Quick, not just the one in January that is awesome. It also includes the summer one.
Okay. What about the hot fixes? There's West Coast Gamers Done Quick and female gamers done quick.
There's the Frame Fatale thing. That's in 3 days, the 15th, I think. Oh no, I just dated ourselves. Yeah.
I mean, it's still cool. We can just cut this out.
We have an MST race in there, so that's gonna be cool.
That's actually kind of sick. Mm-hmm. By the way, people should totally support that. That kind of stuff is very important for the scene. And I don't understand the West Coast one. Like, as someone who was hyped for it and glad to probably get into the West Coast GDQ, because how many people on the West Coast are submitting times for this? I don't know. Why are we highlighting the West Coast on an online-only event? Who knows?
It's just every West Coast. Take it. Like the Swedish West Coast, the France just West Coast, the Irish West Coast,
you literally
Japanese
have to
West Coast.
You have to prove that you're in like California, Arizona, Washington, Oregon. Like, you have to be on the West Coast of the United States so that you can submit
to join an online
event.
Okay, that's kind of silly.
It's really silly. But again, I'm not complaining as a West Coast native. I surf to work every day. As I live in California. It's just part of the job.
Than the traffic, probably.
Yeah, no, I either take the I-5, 87, 64, or I surf. It's one or the other.
It's just a whole bunch of numbers that mean nothing to me, but I'm just going to nod and smile.
Have you ever seen The Californians? It's an old Saturday Night Live skit.
Oh, no, I've not seen that.
Have you ever watched Saturday Night Live?
I watch clips. It's not. I know who Jimmy Fallon is. He's that guy, right?
I don't.
Is he another thing? I don't know.
I think he's on some episodes, but I don't think he's like a big SNL guy. But SNL, they have a clip or a series of episodes called The Californians, and whenever they talk about traveling, they just state a bunch of highway numbers. And it's not like super true in like Northern California, but SoCal, it's literally you get off of the highway onto a highway to take a highway to a highway, and then you get off of that highway on the west exit, and then you're where you're trying to go.
Sounds like what I've been told America's like, so.
It's like pretty bad in California. They also all have blonde hair in that skit. It's very funny. And smoke a ton of weed.
And like 50% is half Korean as well.
Yep.
We all eat Chipotle and In-N-Out, smoke weed.
Hey man.
Browse TikTok.
Okay, well TikTok's a Chinese thing. We're gonna skip
it's
past
also
that.
like an NA thing now.
I know, it's everywhere.
It didn't get
told
banned,
you
I think.
About how my TikTok is like booming in Swedish?
Oh, is it?
Yeah. My YouTube editor is Swedish, so he posted all of the TikTok videos that we made on his account in Sweden and on my account in NA. They got like 20 views here and like thousands on the Swedish account.
I mean, we are nerds over here, but I didn't realize the nerds also gravitated towards TikTok.
They just really like Twilight Princess in Sweden. Okay.
I mean, we do. Just check out Demon. He likes it. He's Swedish, I think. Last time I checked.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, we kind of went off on a tangent that's like mostly my bad.
It's fine though. Tangents are fun sometimes.
They can be. Especially when we have fun editing abilities, so we can like decide, was this tangent funny or was this annoying and stupid? Just cut it.
Yeah.
Get that shit out of here. So, moving on to the question that we had that we never really answered. Do you think Majora's Mask or Ocarina of Time like benefited more from SRM overall?
I have a bit of a spicy take on this because I think in general it was a net positive, like really. But both games went through a pretty rough period where it wasn't handled properly. Because I think, I mean, it's easy to say because hindsight is 2020 and all that. But I think, like, with something as powerful as SRM, then you need to, like, quickly establish, okay, either we just outright ban it or we split categories. That's really all the alternatives you have. And outright banning it is kind of weird from my point of view, because then you kind of signal like, oh, we don't actually want stuff to get found or new improvements to get found. Like we want just this ever stagnant game. And I don't think that's a healthy way to look at anything, really. Even if someone's like, yeah. But I think I don't know. I think it's a good thing. And the categories that would have been like utterly destroyed by it, like got splits or they ban it. Like MST, for example, would have been like MST or Medallion Stones and Trials in Ocarina of Time already banned like similar glitches or like memory manipulation glitches. So it was a kind of a no-brainer to ban SRM in that as well. And I was like, yeah, okay, cool. So we now have like a wider spectrum of things you can do in the game. Like if you want to mess around with SRM and item manipulation and grotto overlay wrong warping, I'm not going to bother explaining that. I'm just throwing lingo at you. Then you can do that, and like no one's going to stop you. But we're not just going to delete or completely make these old beloved categories completely obsolete. You know. So I think it's been a good thing in general. It just made the games more diverse. But I just think that some people got a pretty sour taste in their mouth due to how it was handled, like community-wise. Because in OT, the votes on like what category should ban it and what should allow it took quite a long time. And then like MM did the opposite thing, where they did the votes super quickly without like fully like discussing the possible repercussions of the outcome.
I know MM had 2 votes. They had a vote for SRM, and then there was some stuff found with the debug menu that had like a separate vote. And I know a lot of people didn't like that vote because apparently it was handled more under the table. Yeah. It was like in the Discord they had a vote. All the people who ran the game were there. They all voted. And then 2 weeks later, they just said, by the way, we had this vote. Here's the results. And everyone was like, yo, what? How come we never heard about this? Why wasn't I involved? And there was like a big shadow government thing that happened of that.
The whole shadow government meme.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which was, as far as I was concerned, the people who ran Majora's Mask did not want to play the Song of Soaring 70 times in a row because they enjoyed speedrunning their game. I think categories like having a console split would have still solved the problem because debug menu was still Wii U only, I believe. So I think there were better ways to go about this. But overall, I think there is something to be said about like preserving something like this that would have been so powerful to where you couldn't have had like splits without just like destroying the leaderboard. Because there's also something to be said about leaderboards getting too, you know, you like look cluttered. You look at the Breath of the Wild leaderboard and there's amiibo, no amiibo, DLC, no DLC, DLC but amiibo, amiibo but no DLC, and it's just like a whole mess of categories. And I think there's a positive to that, as you get the ability to do whatever you want, which is cool. I am someone who used to be a huge advocate for running the like N64 versus VC versions of the same route for Ocarina of Time being split, because even though they're very similar in timing, they were different routes, and that felt weird to me to compare.
Well, yeah, I mean,
routes.
I'm not a fan of like console splits in general, like on the leaderboard, because it's already like people already like realize that different versions of the game can do different things.
Yeah,
Like,
the thing that swapped my mentality was that like where do you stop? You add VC versus N64, but then we also need to have N64 1.0, 1.1, 1.2 versus each other, and then we need to have English versus JP, and it just like never ends. And it, we're talking about how it was cluttered
I guess
before, but
yeah, I mean, you don't need console splits because like SRC or speedrun.com already has like you can filter out if you want to watch runs submitted from a certain console and all that. So if you like, in terms of OOT again and all dungeons no SRM, then the N64 route and the VC route they're very different. They're still like kind of comparable in time. The N64 route is like 1 or 2 minutes faster. But since the routes are different, like console records like actually kind of matters and is a thing that's like you could be able to be proud of, and you should be able to be proud of. And same goes for like 100% or MST. Like, and I feel like in terms of as well, since literally no one wanted to play on Wii U, then as soon as someone just wants to get like a cheap world record or whatever by just dealing with Wii U for a couple months and grinding it out, then like no one's gonna really see that as the record if no one else is running it on Wii U, you know?
It depends if it's split
So
or
I
not.
don't
If
know.
it's not split, it'll still be at the top of the leaderboard, and you have to look at it
Yeah,
as
yeah.
in there's two different people who go to a SRC leaderboard. There's the guy who's in the Ocarina of Time Discord. He's run a couple of different categories or watched a couple of different categories. He looks at the leaderboard and he knows what's going on. And there's guy number two who goes to the leaderboard after he saw a GDQ run. He's never seen a speedrun before in his life. He sees Wii use the first place, fastest thing. That's clearly the best console to run on. It's clearly like there's stuff that's like obvious to people who run the game, and there's stuff that's not obvious. And like coming from someone who started out in speedrunning by checking SRC and like looking at what there was on SRC, I think it's a bad mindset that people do have this, but it's important to realize that there are people who know nothing about speedrunning going to a leaderboard for a game and thinking about it. And it's
Yeah,
just
that's
like
true.
it's an unfortunate situation, but like we have speed limits and driving laws built around the fact that you have to get a license to drive a car. Right?
Yeah.
Because otherwise, there'd be a lot of havoc. But we don't have that for speedrunning. You don't have, like, before you jump into a game, here's your thing you have to pass or whatever.
Well, like, yeah, I agree with you on that. Like, there's going to be people who just look at the leaderboards and see, like, oh, whoever's the fastest is obviously the best on the best console, on the best route, and all that.
And this is what I have to run. If I want to run this game, I clearly need to go get Wii U and the Wii U version of the game.
But I don't think that's really the case, though. Like in most, because like there's a ton of new people coming into like the OT community who are like, oh, I'm gonna purposely run a slower version of this route. Like, there's a lot of people doing glitchless recently on N64, which is just objectively a lot slower because it lags. Like, it's not really the route is different. It's
My
just
favorite
slower.
screen show or slideshow.
Oh yeah, like people do that, and just because console record actually matters, like it's a thing that, like the people who actually run the game, which honestly, like it's are the people who like, in terms of the community, matter the most. Like those care about console records, and those don't really. They don't want to run on something they don't enjoy, which is also the reason why the record isn't on IQ. Because like, if you take Danny, clearly world record capable runner, because he's had it plenty of times, and only recently this year got buffed by Chef Bear. Like he has an IQ, and it's just way faster on IQ, but he's not running on IQ because, well, it would be community suicide, because it would be, as they say in the business, kind of a douchey move. And like stuff like that is, I feel like, underrated, because like he doesn't want to basically ruin the leaderboard for everyone else. And
Are
like,
you aware of
it's
the
a
shield?
cheapened world record. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can talk about it for those who aren't.
No, I just wanted to know if it was similar IQ to Shield. Shield is it's the Nvidia Shield. For whatever reason, has a Twilight Princess adaptation that is the GameCube version of the Korean GameCube release of Twilight Princess. That just runs so much faster.
Mm-hmm.
And like,
but no one runs on it
have one.
because but like no one runs on it because they realize it's just not a cool thing to do to the community, because you don't get to the point where you can contest a world record without being invested into the community. And at that point, I don't think you're gonna be like that.
Oh, screw you guys.
Rude about it.
Yeah.
Because like I can't see any of the top runners willingly just like, oh, I just want to get a cheap record on Wii U that everyone's gonna hate me for, and like is only gonna cater to the people who don't actually know about the game's speedrunning like history or whatever. Because like I can't see Enop or Pope or Kyle or like I just can't see any of them doing that.
That's fair. So then the end of the question was, which benefited more, MM or Ocarina of Time?
I think OT benefited more in general because we have the luxury of having more active runners. So doing category splits is less like, it doesn't necessarily like, oh, we split the community in half.
Yeah.
Between the people who like this new stuff and don't like it. Like we kind of do that, but since there's still like a pretty big pool of active runners, it's not like one half of the game is just gonna die completely.
Yeah. Yeah. Ocarina of Time does have that situation where it is just, you know, the second biggest speed game or whatever. It's like one of the biggest speed games.
I mean, that's just lucky, really. It's just unfortunate that for the other games, but it's just kind of a fact of situation, you know?
It's just statistics.
It's not it's unfortunate that
it's a good speed
it
game.
Is that way, but it's also a good thing for the game.
And I kind of just want to talk about, in general, I wanted you to describe like the feeling that you have when you're on a run that's better than any run you've ever had. And not only is it better than any run you've ever had, but it's like a good run. Like what's it like to be on your first good run?
it's a weird feeling because like it doesn't really set in fully until you're done or until you're really close to the end. Because when you're like in the middle of it or you're just starting the run or like you still have 40-30 minutes left in the run, like, well, I've done enough attempts to know that I can still choke this. This is not by any means a guaranteed PB. So I mean, no taking out victories in advance, but it's always like at the back of your head, like, if I don't choke this, then I'll have like a top 10 time in one of the most popular speed games in like one of the most popular categories. And it's like, oh, that would be pretty cool. But like the thoughts can't really go further than that because I can't afford to like lose focus on actually performing the run.
Yeah, you could always die to Ganon.
Yeah, like you really could. So it didn't really like fully set in until like after I've done the final slash and I stop the timer and I just look at live split and I see like, wow, I really just did this. And it's just a weird feeling of just like, it's just like, because every practice, every like failed run, every like shitty day where you didn't get any good runs going and you felt like complete garbage and nothing was going your way, like it all just adds up to like finally you feel like, wow, I could do this if I really put my mind to it and I practiced and I stuck with it. And it's just an incredible feeling, honestly. Incredibly satisfying.
So now my next question is, how long did it take for you to look at that run and go, this run sucks, I could bop the shit out of this?
Like a week. I was happy for a week. And then it was like, you know,
it's only the greatest I've ever done.
I did lose 20 seconds to some silly things, like in this split, which should not happen. And like, oh, my movement here is kind of sloppy. I can improve that. Because like, even if it was a top 10 time, it's still like 2 minutes off of record.
Exactly.
And I mean, obviously I can do better in that case, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you still got top 5 for next. Although I do believe you have moved on to running other categories. To spread your butterfly Nalle wings.
Yeah, I felt like my long-term goal for GSR before that was just getting a sub 120, which happened last December, like almost a year ago at this point.
My golly.
And yeah,
you
and I was really happy with that. Yeah, and then I did glitchless for a couple months, and I got a sub 4 in that. Pretty happy about that. Still planning on going back to glitchless, but then Valiant Link, another Ocarina of Time runner, hosted his semi-yearly GSR tournament with a bunch of people. Yeah, it's been yearly at this point, but it's not like guaranteed to happen every year. So he hosted that tournament, and I wanted to join. I was like, oh, I need to de-rust. So then I got back into the category. I did the tournament. I got knocked out. I got 2 PBs that were honestly just felt pretty bad. But they were better than my 119 that I was super proud about. And I got a 118 that's like, oh, this sucks. And then I got a 117 that's like, oh my God, this feels worse than my 118. Like, what? How did this happen?
Speedrunning is a curse, dude.
Yeah.
It really is.
Like, oh my God, I just want to get like a decent PB that I don't feel awful about. And then I'll dip and I'll do other categories.
And then you finally get it, and then a week later.
Yeah. Finally get it. I'm super satisfied. I'm happy. I proved to everyone that I'm not actually hot garbage at this game. I can get a good time.
Did you prove to everyone that you're not hot garbage, or did you prove to yourself that you're not hot garbage?
I don't care what everyone thinks. I proved to myself that I'm not hot garbage.
Okay, because you said you proved to everyone, so I wanted to know, like, was this? Yeah. Did you feel like you needed approval for everyone else, or were you doing this for you?
I felt like I needed a little bit of proving to everyone else, but it was mostly just proving to myself that I could do it. Because no one
Nice.
else said that I was like, oh, I'm just choking good pace runs, or like, because no one said that to me. Like, no one does that. But I said it to
That must
myself.
sound nice. That must be nice.
Well, it's all about what people you surround yourself with. If someone's being a jerk
Good
to me,
point.
then I don't tolerate that.
I should probably ban
It's just
some people.
Oh yeah, I've gone way more like trigger happy with banning people, and it's such
That's so nice.
a blessing, dude.
Someone asked me the other day, "Do you enjoy banning people?" And I shot him, and I was like, "You let me know if I enjoy banning people." Never came back. I unbanned it like immediately after, but I did ban the fuck out.
Yeah, it's just a show of confidence and power, really. It's like, wow, don't mess with this Ike guy.
I feel like in general streamers are really slow, especially smaller streamers. They're really slow on that ban button, because they're like, oh, if I ban this guy, I go from a 5-viewer streamer to a 4-viewer streamer. That's 25% of my viewer. 20, and it's just like, shit, can't ban this guy.
Yeah.
Nah, just ban him.
I was like that for the longest time. I really was, until like really recently, or like a few months ago.
I'm banned now, by the way.
Where I realized that, like, if I'm not enjoying the company of this person, then odds are the other people in my stream who were here before this person, who enjoy my company, aren't enjoying this dude's company either. So then it's like, overall, the stream experience for me and the people who enjoyed hanging out with me is going to improve if I ban this person. So like, it's all about just building your own like stream culture or whatever, or your own like
little community
style. Yeah, your own little community. And if you're not banning assholes, then your community is going to become like tolerant of assholes, and I don't want that.
Asshole tolerant.
Yeah, none of that. Get out. If you're an asshole, get out.
Just
I don't want
doors. He's got
neither
of us have doors in our backgrounds. I got a window. Go out the fucking window. I'm on the second story.
Yeah. Okay, that's a bit harsh, maybe, but you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's like a bush down there. There's something. He'll be fine. I mean, he's an asshole, anyways. You know. But thank you for answering these questions, Nalle. We're gonna move on to the speed dating portion. This is the super meme part where I ask Nalle some more personal questions, heart to heart. So I believe last time we did this, I had not really fine-tuned it, and I was like responding to your responses. Since we do have the timer and the splits, I don't say shit. I am going to ask you the question, and then you are going to give me the answer, and then I am probably going to smile and nod and ask the next question. It's supposed to be a speed run. That's kind of the point. A speed date. If you're not fast enough, I'm going to dump you. That's how this works.
Oh, okay. I did not realize you're gonna dump. Okay, I thought we had something good going here, but okay.
Everyone does. Everyone does.
Oh, okay.
We're going to. I'm gonna be honest. There has been a bit of a lag. You are on the European server. I'm on the Californian server on my surfboard. So I'm going to have you do the countdown at the end of your doing a countdown. So 3 to 0. We'll go on 0, and I'll ask the first question. Go when you're ready.
Wait, I do the countdown?
Yes.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, 0.
Nalle, are you a morning or a night person?
Night person, for sure.
What would be your perfect date?
Dinner and a movie, and then a long, cozy walk in street lights, like midnight cityscape.
What is your biggest fear?
Never feeling happy about who I am.
What is one thing on your bucket list?
want to climb a really big mountain at some point.
What's the nastiest thing you've ever eaten?
Probably a moldy muffin a few years back.
If you could visit any place in the world, where would it be and why?
Probably the US, actually, because I have a lot of friends in there.
What is your go-to karaoke song?
Baka Mitai.
Who would you choose to play you in a movie about your life? What actor would you pick?
Tobey Maguire.
What is
Spider-Man guy.
What is your favorite guilty pleasure?
Shitty anime.
What's your favorite way to spend your time outside of gaming and speedrunning?
Just hanging out with friends, watching a movie or a show, getting dinner.
All right. Thank you for joining me on this date, Nalle.
Thank you. I hope I wasn't too slow.
Questions. Oh, it was.
I
were cutting
needed
it time.
some. Yeah, I needed some like thoughts on some of those questions. Like the bucket list one, and which country I wanted to visit. Like, oh my god, like.
I don't think I have a
stuff.
bucket list. I don't think I have a
is that
bucket
a thing
list.
people have? Let us know in the comments down below.
I think. Oh yeah. If anyone else is watching this and you want to, I'd love to hear random people's answers to some of these questions because these are like actual speed date questions. I do probably think that maybe if I ever had gone on like a date once in my adult life, that I might have slightly more realistic speed dating questions rather than I watch some speed dating like shows and like copied questions from like some like Reddit thread on good questions for while you're on a speed date.
I mean, you're not missing out on much. Let me tell you that.
I don't really know. Like I believe people
pretty yikes.
Yeah, especially with like the whole coronavirus. Like everyone's just hitting up each other.
Oh yeah,
horny in the DMs. Oh god.
Like I can't actually meet you, but you seem like a wonderful person.
I swiped right. God. Is there anything that you would like to touch on? Is there anything you want people to know about you, about speed running, about getting into speedrunning, getting into streaming, getting into dating Swift Ike? Do you want to add on here?
Dating Swift Ike is a no-brainer. Like he's a wonderful guy. He'll treat me nice. He'll even offer to pay for your dinner, and then you can refuse 5 times before he finally accepts that. Okay, I don't have to buy him dinner. This actually happened, by the way. But yeah, on a more like serious note, in general, speedrunning communities are very welcome and very open to new people, and we all love helping out new runners or people who want to get into the whole thing. So if you're not into speedrunning or just watch it and you just want to try it out for fun, learn a couple things, maybe do like a super scuffed speedrun of one of your favorite games, then just don't be afraid to just hit anyone up, because 99% of the time, even like the biggest streamers or the biggest speedrunners of any game are just happy to help people getting into their speed game. Most people are very welcoming. So if you're ever interested, just hit us up.
Either of us, we both have speed games that we'd love to help you in getting into.
Yeah, for sure.
Speedrunning is sweet. Thank you for that. Do you want to shout out your social medias, your Twitch stream, what you're doing on Twitch right now?
Twitch.tv/NalleSounds, NALLE sounds. You can call me Nalle, that's cool too. I have a Twitter where I tweet some stuff. It's just Nalle there. Internet phenomenon. I'm blowing up.
Recently. I had one question that I needed to ask, and I forgot to ask about it. This was very important. Please explain to me wide link.
Wide link?
Wide
Do you know
link.
Wide Putin?
I've heard of Wide Putin. But where were you when you decided I needed to make wide link? How did you make it to a simple on like a simple scale? If you haven't seen wide link, I'm actually gonna see if my editor can like put the clip. On the thing, it's one of the funniest videos I've ever seen in my life.
It's just a dumb shit post that we thought of, like me and
Dumb
a couple
shit posts are
friends.
what this whole channel is all about.
Oh yeah, I mean it was just a silly thing that me and a couple OT peeps thought about, like in a Discord call at like 2 a.m. like messing around because the practice ROM or GC for Ocarina of Time, you can edit a bunch of values and warp the places and turn off the HUD and all that. There's a thing you could do to stretch out Link and make him hella wide. So we were just doing that, just walking around in lawn like, oh dude, just put on the white Putin music, set up a sick camera angle, and just record it, and
just walk around.
Boom, 10 out of 10 shit post, and there we have it.
It really was. Oh, thank you so much for that. By the way, it makes me so happy.
Yeah, man, I'm just a memer at heart.
Aren't we all?
Speedrun is secondary to having a good time.
Absolutely. So I got your socials. The last thing I wanted to ask was what are you running now? What are your goals? What are you hoping to accomplish? You know, you said last year you wanted to get sub 120, now you have 115 in GSR. I believe you're running a new category now.
Yep.
Where are you with that? How long will you be running that? What plans do you have?
I'm currently focusing on beating all dungeons in Ocarina of Time without the use of stale reference manipulation, also known as AD no SRM. It's a cool category. I like it. It's really different from GSR, and it's very hard. So it's an interesting challenge. And I didn't think I'd enjoy the category as much as I am, so I think I'm going to stick with it for a while until I get maybe even like a top 10 time, but we'll see if I want to grind it that much. And then in the long future, then more glitchless and MST to come, probably. And maybe even trying to improve my GSR time. But that's it.
All right.
That's my plans for now.
Thank you for sharing. I like that kind of stuff. It's fun to have in the... I'm going to turn my monitor back on. Thank you, Nalle, for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. It was a pleasure. I'm, again, sorry about the scheduling issues.
No, it's fine. This is an entire ocean between us and the rest of the US.
Oh, yeah. I mean, let's go the other way. And then there's just Russia and Japan.
Bigger ocean.
A bigger ocean. Oh, Hawaii. Don't forget about Hawaii.
And Russia.
All of Russia is between us.
Dude, literally
Jake Wright lives there. That guy's insane.
Oh, yeah.